Sergeant and Mrs. Smith, you're going to love this house.
Is that a tub in the kitchen?
There's no field manual for finding the right home. But when you do, USAA Homeowners Insurance can help protect it the right way. Restrictions apply.
The friendship is sharing deal.
Because I want one of your McNuggets.
And I need some of your Quarter Pounder.
There's a deal for everyone at McDonald's. Get one favorite like 10-piece chicken McNuggets, a Quarter Pounder, or a Big Mac, and get another for just $1. Price and participation may vary. Valid for item of equal or lesser value.
Girl, real talk. This whole it's new year, time to reinvent myself trash is not the vibe for 2024. You can find someone who loves you for you, as you are. You don't need to read a stack of self-help books, only eat sad salads, or start meditating at 5 a.m. to be ready for dating. So yeah, my advice is to download Bumble and find someone who embraces you the way you are right now. Let me know how it goes.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin. Anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking.
Back at it again with another shade of blue. My name is Cody Bradley. I am here with Thad Bell and Robert Russert. Boys, it was a crazy week, 10 days or so. A lot for us to talk about. Thad, just tell me how you're feeling right here. It's good to see you. I'm glad to be in between you guys again. I like these in-person pods.
So you like being between me and Robert. That's good to know. It does give me a warm and fuzzy feeling, but
not a bit awkward.
This last week has been just stupid, crazy. Didn't get anything I wanted to get done because of all the crazy Gavin news.
And then it was really good for like a few hours, and then it was really bad again.
So kind of like me at my bank, at my desk, and I'm helping customers, and my watch keeps going off every 5 seconds. And they wonder why I keep looking at my wrist.
Yeah, you got to snooze those alerts for Slack when midday something like that comes out.
Yeah, but I've got to be in the know, right? Come on.
FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Mm-hmm.
So there is actual soccer to talk about. The team took the field, Thad.
They did.
And won.
And
Peter just dropped by, and he's exactly that's what he wants us to talk about. So,
right.
Yeah,
should we start off with that to please Peter because there's nothing else to talk about?
Wait. I think that's supposed to be in segment 3 because I would get yelled at if I brought it up too early.
Hey, he brought it up.
I get chastised all the time for bringing up stuff that we're going to talk about in segment 3.
You see, it's a tease. See, now people are excited to get to the actual soccer in segment 3.
I don't know if they're excited.
Yeah, it was against FIU. I mean, how excited can we get?
It's a preseason game.
But there is actual, we can talk about the team, and there's actual
there were goals?
Substance about the field and the ball rolling around on it that we can talk about.
And yes, we can talk about it. I won't say any more because I will get in trouble.
But first, there is some meat left on the bone. As Aaron Ladd says.
I really appreciate Aaron Ladd.
Wait, is he the same guy that picked up the ball during the media game, right?
Yes.
No, okay.
Yes.
I'm just making sure. Got to give Aaron a shout out. I mean, in more ways than one.
Great, interesting way of asking a question, but does he know how to play soccer? Hell no. But he's got a great mom. I love her.
It should be mandatory that anytime Aaron Ladd is brought up, we mention his performance in the media game.
And his mother.
And his mom. I'm not going to lie. That's a reference I don't understand here. I was toying
it's a whole
between
thing,
if I
Cody.
should
Just
drop
go
it
with
or-
it. Just go with it, Cody.
Okay, I should just keep
You
it.
tell me all the time, Robert. Just go with it. Cody,
I'm
go with
nervous about it. So should we just keep it? Okay, tell me.
It's fine. It's fine. It's like one of those things that just gets stupidly overblown, but
Right.
that's what everybody does, right? I saw on Twitter last year he had his mom in town, was bringing her around, showing her Kansas City and doing things and barbecue and places and all that stuff. And that night or next night or whatever it was, I saw him at Sporting. I just go, "Hey, Aaron, how's your mom doing?" And everybody took it as I was insinuating something.
He was like, "What the hell, man? You leave the moms out of this."
I was truly trying to just be a nice guy and say, "Hey, man, how's your mom doing? She enjoy Kansas City," kind of thing. And like the entire.
You're a hell of a guy, Thad. Hell of a guy.
I'm not above doing that to people.
He's
Trust
nice.
me.
He's just awkward.
Well, yeah, there is that. That's a friend of mine. I heard he had surgery, so I texted him and said, "Hey, man, how you doing?" I didn't tell him I knew he had surgery, but he goes, yeah, I'm just recuperating from surgery. I tore my Achilles, so they had to fix it. I'm like, oh, that's too bad, man. How'd you do it? Playing pickleball. And my response was lol and like emojis laughing.
Oh, you didn't ask him about his mom? Oh, okay.
No, I think she's dead. That would be that nice.
Oh,
He's not young.
Okay, so on the dead mother note, I'm going to keep it moving here. Before we actually talk about the meat that's left on the bone, let's take a moment and appreciate the fact that the team did actually reverse course here, Thad.
They did a right thing after doing a wrong thing, but we don't know if they did the right thing for the right reasons or the right thing for just because they had to.
The math they got there with, we're not sure if that adds up, but they got the right answer.
It's the new math, I think. Yeah.
We need to see their math.
We do kind of need to see their math, but I'm happy for the fans. I'm happy that I am able to not have like a dark cloud when I think about this team. I'm happy that I can just cover it and be happy about the players on the field without feeling gross about it.
Is there not a dark cloud though?
Yeah, you're still drinking the Kool-Aid, Cody.
I mean,
there's a cloud. There's a cloud. It's a gray cloud.
It may not be tornado dropping from the sky cloud that we're used to here in the Midwest, but there is definitely a gray cloud on the horizon about how this whole thing happened, and from beginning to end.
Yes, and we are going to talk about all of that the next segment. But I wanted to...
That was a tease.
I wanted to appreciate this in the moment because what I had been saying on the show was that this is a clear example that they don't care about the fans. Now, I'm sure sponsors were involved in this decision in some way, but I do think the fan reaction, the unanimous reaction, had a big part of this.
And I think we said last time, or I can't remember what we said last time, but it was the most unified that sporting fans have been since, I don't know, winning MLS Cup. And even then there was people that were wanting Vermees out. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were just kind of expecting this, like fans would be annoyed, mildly annoyed, excited for the season though. And the widespread reaction, the hard stance of no, this isn't cool from every corner, including the team. There were people working for the team that were doing all of this as well.
Yes, we do know that.
We do know that.
We do know that.
That's all he's going to say about that.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, so guys, I mean, in today's modern atmosphere, social media, we talk about tactically, maybe we're still living in 2013 in some ways. Are they still living in 2013 in the social media realm as well? Because you said a mild reaction. You're not going to get a mild reaction through, the social media.
On anything.
Yeah, that's available today. That's not going to happen. It's going to be blown out of proportion. It's going to multiply quickly. What were they thinking?
Well, I think like you're saying, everyone knows that's social media. I think they were seeing this as let them scream about this for a few days on Twitter, and then they'll forget about it. But we didn't forget about it. The Star kept pushing, and the sponsors probably got involved. And another thing that I think we should probably talk about is the Cauldron and South Stand supporter groups, while publicly kind of let us down. I think they were probably in the ear of the front office and being as vocal about this as we would like. Because if the two fan groups were not putting pressure on them, I don't think this would have happened.
I don't know. I don't know, because there was a lot of fan response that was not organized through those two fan groups.
Yeah.
I know many people who called to cancel their season tickets, and I know that's slightly anecdotal, but because it's the people I know that are diehard fans, that's the ones that were probably the worst.
Yeah.
I know people who grew up with the team and have multiple $1,000s worth of season tickets right now. They wanted them canceled right now, and then they were outraged when they couldn't. I know people who still had payments left on this season, and they said, screw it, I'm not making those payments, take my tickets, I don't care.
Wow.
that's not mild reaction. And I don't know what the Cauldron did or the South Stand did or did not do. I know that I felt very disappointed that they weren't at least vocally stronger about it.
Yeah.
Maybe they were talking behind the scenes.
It was the opposite of publicly strong stance.
As the SKC ladies were.
Right.
Ladies of SKC.
Ladies of SKC.
Which you are an honorary member of now, Cody.
You're telling me that?
I was told to tell you that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice,
good.
nice.
Good. If you guys didn't listen, it's irrelevant now, but we had Brandy from Ladies of SKC on the night before they made this announcement. So it was a very short-lived podcast, but I did enjoy talking with her.
And it's actually not a very long podcast, so just still go and listen to it because it's good info about what they were planning on doing and at least the effort they were putting into it.
And the feelings around this hire and why there's meat left on this bone. Why it shouldn't just be, we can just forget it that quickly, right?
I think you need to clip out that there's meat left on the bone part just for future use.
Exactly.
Okay, we definitely did not sit and appreciate the actual decision as long as I wanted to.
Okay, we appreciate it. He's gone. I mean,
Robert, were you wondering what your coverage would look like this season?
I think we all were. How can you in good conscience, really push this team in a positive way, even though, the players had nothing to do with it, and that's the focus I would have. The players are still the players we love, the players that we care about, and they're caught up in all of this. So, that probably would have been my angle. I don't think I would be, pushing the Victory Project and glorifying it as maybe as much as I've done in the past and things like that. Yeah, it would have been more player-based for sure.
One of my favorite reactions to all of this amazingly came from the SKC subreddit. And even though they've reversed course, there is still all of the, the questions surrounding it. I think we're maybe now entering where we're a real proper football club where it's the fans and the players against the ownership group. That's what football teams in Europe are. Hate the front office with every passion, every fiber of their being, but they love the team.
Does it have to be that way, though, to be a proper football club?
Well, no.
No, it don't.
And the only reason it's that way is because they're never going to win the league. Only certain teams are going to win the league in those leagues, right? So they're like, we might as well bitch at the front office as much as we can.
Right. Yeah, there's like 4 or 5 teams that might win the league, and there's a few teams that are in the relegation zone, and everybody in between is like, okay, let's have a good day at the game.
Let's piss on the ownership.
And we don't have, thank God we don't have, sovereign wealth funds from the Middle East funding this team at the moment. So
at the moment.
Hey, piss off the owners enough, maybe it will happen.
This podcast is brought to you by AT&T Fiber with All-Fi. Something tells me that the guy watching sports for 13 hours straight on Sunday, who then stays up watching the recaps of those 13 hours, then calls his friends to talk about it, is definitely going to notice that half-a-second delay.
Get AT&T Fiber with All-Fi and watch sports any time of day from anywhere in your house. Live like a gigillionaire. Limited availability in select areas. Go to att.com/hypergig to check eligibility. Coverage may require extenders at additional charge.
Girl, real talk. This whole it's new year, time to reinvent myself trash is not the vibe for 2024. You can find someone who loves you for you, as you are. You don't need to read a stack of self-help books, only eat sad salads, or start meditating at 5 a.m. to be ready for dating. So yeah, my advice is to download Bumble and find someone who embraces you the way you are right now. Let me know how it goes.
All right. We did not have a whole lot of time to celebrate the reversal of their decision because Jeff Ruder of The Athletic later that day updated his story to say that multiple anonymous sources within the team had said that of all of the names presented to the team by the Nolan partners, that Gavin Wilkinson was not actually one of them.
He was not recommended by them.
Not recommended by Nolan partners.
I think he was one of the ones that they evaluated, but he was not recommended. He was not one of the final couple.
Oh, he was evaluated by the Nolan partners, but he was given to them.
I believe he was in that mix of the ones that was evaluated. That's my understanding. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. And then Sporting also did their own evaluation, and that's...
The line that Jeff Ruder has here is that he was not among the candidates that were identified and presented by Nolan Partners.
After their background checks, et cetera. Yeah. After their vetting.
You should not pass a background check.
So that opens up the question of there's someone within the team or someone's who kind of pushed this through.
Yes.
And the other part of it is that during the press conference where they introduced Gavin Wilkinson, it was heavily implied that the Nolan Partners were involved in this. And I mean, obviously they were, but to any reasonable human listening to that, it would have sounded very much like, hey, the Nolan Partners were a big part of this. They're the ones, we just left this up to them. They're the ones that found our candidates for us.
It very much came across that he was one of the final three, and they chose him. So and the sad thing is, like, now I talked to several other people who was there as media, and they all feel like from now on we can't trust them to say anything, and we just take it as face value. We have to narrow it down and question it. So it will make pressers much more painful because they essentially tried to slide something by the media, and Kansas City is pretty much nice media.
Yeah.
But when you've left some stuff on the bone, there's going to be more follow-up on it.
While listening to the audio from this press conference, or that Vermees had this week, I had the thought, like you just said, it's pretty nice media here in Kansas City. Can you imagine Peter Vermees coaching in England and facing the English sports media?
There, or New York, or Chicago.
Or even New York, you're right.
I mean, mostly media here is fairly nice. I mean, I know that sometimes, there's people that are not so much, but it's usually related to the Chiefs or something like that, or the Royals, or moving stadiums maybe. But it's, really we come in and say, hey, what about these players? What about this game? What about, did you use more subs? But it's all stuff like that. Now it's a question, though.
Pretty nice media, friendly media, and a strong communications team that did well at controlling narratives and all of that. And so Vermees has not ever faced questions like this. There's never been something controversial that has happened to where he had to sit there and take a bunch of questions from a bunch of different sources. And so that's why in this conference that he had after this first preseason game, or I guess it was before, maybe it was after.
It was the recent one was after the preseason game.
So when he got 3 questions in a row on something he didn't want to talk about, when was the last time that would have happened? I'm thinking in the past of things we know we want to ask, or we want something from Vermees and we know he doesn't want to answer it, is maybe about someone leaving. He jettisoned Ben Sweat. He'll get a couple questions about it, but then if he's not giving us anything, it's like, well, what are we even pulling at here?
Well, because we know he won't answer much further than that.
Right.
And that's just, I've been around Peter for I don't know how many years now, and he's not, once he's locked in, man, he's really not going to answer anything more. And you have to find some really specific, amazing way to ask a question for him to even elaborate any further. And that's going to be hard to do. I think there's only a couple people in town here that are going to get any more answers.
Yeah, Jeff Ruder got the answers, and he is not in town.
Right. I think Sam McDowell or I can't say his name correctly, so I apologize, but Vahe Gregorian.
Oh, yeah.
I think he might be able to get more answers. But I think it's going to take going to the ownership now to get more. And they may not answer anything either.
Well, the question was asked in 3 different ways. Sperry opened it up with the first one, got a non-answer. And then Jimmy followed up with a second one here.
Peter, I know you mentioned you're focusing on the preseason. There was a report by The Athletic yesterday that Wilkinson was not among the candidates presented or identified by Nolan Partners. So Do you have a comment on if that's the case, who did identify him and what that due diligence that was done in the vetting process was?
Again, I think you guys can all have the statement that our owner made. They own the team. They made their statement. That's the statement. There's nothing more to talk about. So if you guys want to talk about soccer and talk about the team, I'm all ears, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
We should note you can't get this audio elsewhere because the team didn't post it. So this is Thad's rough recording from his computer just in the room.
I stuck my recorder next to the laptop just so I would have be able to refer to it faster, because I still assume they would send it out. And it's been one of the few times that they did not send out audio from some presser.
Well, good job. We're glad that we have that. So Vermees was putting this on the owners. He didn't want to respond to it. And honestly, I guess it's inherently there's nothing that wrong with these answers. It's a coach who has just started preseason. A coach in any sport is not going to they never want to talk about the things off the field. So it's not an insane thing that he's doing here. But it is also insane to think that media and no one else wants to have an answer about this situation. So Aaron Ladd did not give up on it and tried to ask the question in a different way, give him kind of an out. He wasn't exactly asking about Wilkinson, just to get the guy talking, and it didn't work either.
Peter, there's definitely some meat left on the bone there with the Gavin and you being up there. I wonder, people say caught a stray, I guess, maybe. Do you feel like maybe there were wounds opened here where previously there weren't, and kind of the handling of the situation with Gavin and that Sporting?
Again, guys, I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. I'm not here to talk about that anymore. Everything's moved on. As you know, our owner made a statement. I appreciate the questions, but there's nothing to talk about from my perspective. I'm at preseason with the team, and that's what we're doing right now.
So I want to move on. I don't want to be... Well, we were just talking about how it was the most unified the fan base has ever been. It is not that unified now. There are plenty of people who are like, who cares about any of this? They got rid of him. Let's just move on. And I would love to do that. It would be so much easier to do that, Robert, if the team was acknowledging what actually happened here.
Well, to further the metaphor, to extend the metaphor, what happens to meat that's left on the bone? It starts to decompose, and maggots and things show up, and it gets worse, and the smell gets bigger.
That's a good point. Well done there.
So first, our job as media not to let it die, because they wanted to. We've got to keep pushing and finding the right people who are going to finally open up and talk about it, because if not, then this corruption inside of the management is going to remain, and who knows what could happen as a result.
Exactly. It's not just nitpicking here. This is a major fault that happened. A major failures on a couple different levels led to this hire, which has been acknowledged, and that's why they got rid of him. But I need to see something like that. We know what happened. Now, I don't need to see someone be the scapegoat and get fired. But if all we have from Vermees is a reference to this statement from the owners, the ownership didn't acknowledge anything. It was like, hey, we worked really hard on this process. We tried to hire someone, and we see that you're not happy about it.
I think that if somebody stepped up and said, be it Peter or be it Illig or somebody else stepped up and said, we realize that this was not a good choice because the fans didn't accept it. At the time, though, I sat down with him and looked at him in the eye, and I felt that he'd learned and he had remorse, and we felt that it was a reasonable opportunity to give him another chance because he has become a different person. But it never came across that way. It was like, oh, he took a course. He took an online course. He's a better person now. We'll have a town hall. You can talk to him later. All of that never really addressed. If I could sit down and talk with a guy, I would try to suss out whether or not he was a good person. My very limited experience with a guy says no. But again, it was very limited experience. I could change my mind. I would love for somebody to say, I've sat down and talked to the guy about what happened and why he did things or why he didn't do things. And I think he has become a better person. And maybe that would have put us over the top that a lot of people would still be pissed, but it would have weathered the storm. but that didn't happen. That's not happening in the aftermath.
This is not me being a libtard, snowflake, or anything like that.
Whether you are or not.
Because the guy is mean.
Right.
That's not what this, it's something went wrong terribly. And I need to know something that tells me it's not going to happen again, that wholesale failures like this are not going to happen again. The lack of acknowledgement makes me wonder who the hell is in charge and their mental fortitude.
And it's trust.
Yeah.
You know, how can you go forward and trust anything that you're going to hear at a press conference, as we talked about earlier, and just your decisions made by the media, by the management. Is that going to be something that we can trust in? Are they telling us the truth about it? And is it, it's just trust.
There will always be things that they just won't tell us because it's,
Of
player
course.
personnel matters and things like that. They didn't need to tell us that somebody was sick or had some gambling issue right off the bat. It's stuff that needed to come out later, but not necessarily at those moments. But this is one of those that it has to come out at some point. Why they chose him, why they thought that somebody that had that many flaws, who was a damaged person in reputation and probably in ethics. Well, we know he was in ethics, but all of that, and he was the right choice to bring in. He wasn't. None of us think he was. But again, if I could sit there and look him in the eye and say, are you the right person? Are you a good person? Have you learned all these things? Maybe I could have been won over. But all I got was, I took a course and I'm here. I earned a second chance.
Well, then, as far as the responsibility for the hire, transparency is what we want. Saying that, transparency is difficult on the other side of the situation. Yep. Because who does this get in trouble? Who is this reveal? Is this person so important to this organization that we can't lose this person? So it's a lot of danger on their side. I get that. But transparency in the end and truthfulness is what's the best way to go.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll ever get that, though. That's the sad thing. Because if it comes down to, was it, because we don't know everything that went down. I still think that Peter was told he needs to give up some of the role and that we were going to bring somebody in and, and Peter's like, oh, hey, this guy's out of a job. I worked with him before. I don't know how much Peter follows all of that news about what happened. I really don't. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that's what happened or if somebody above Peter said, we're going to bring in this guy and put him in there to make sure that you're getting good players in, et cetera. Again, don't really know all of that. And if they don't ever come forward, we will never know that.
At the moment, it really feels like if there was one person that was shoving this through, that it was Vermees. And again, I don't know that. Call that reckless speculation. But, the news that they are old friends, it seems like a reasonable idea that ownership after last season maybe wanted to take something off of Vermees' plate. He pushed back against that. And as a way of agreeing to that, he was like, fine, but it has to be my guy. That doesn't seem like a crazy conspiracy theory. That seems like quite a logical thing that may very well have happened.
It does, but as the way it's played out, there's got to be hard feelings within those people who were involved and all that.
Yeah,
and that's not going to go away.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It's
not easily.
It's a problem with Vermees. I will currently, unless they give me more information, I am currently looking at Peter Vermees differently than I did a month ago.
Yeah, but still everyone gave the thumbs up apparently to this. That was someone.
That's true. Well, not everyone gave the thumbs up.
Everyone who's someone.
Someone
really
or someone's.
Well, it may not be multiple people. It might just be one.
Could be.
And again, just like, I hate to always, I'm the one that always takes the other sides and stuff, and I can't really do it a lot in this, but I will say I don't know that Peter really says, oh, I'm old friends with a guy, I like him. That's what he said in the presser, to the extent that, oh, we've worked together before, and the chief soccer operations guys and stuff like that. So I know him. I don't know that he ever truly said, oh, we're old friends, and that kind of thing, where it really still felt like this was one of the least positive speeches Peter gave about somebody in these kind of situations. But I could be wrong, and I acknowledge that, but I don't know that Peter was all gung-ho for him. Maybe he was, and I will accept if I'm wrong.
We'll be right back. All right. Let's talk about the actual team. Let's talk about soccer, Thad.
That's nice. That's good. Wish I'd have seen more of it.
It's not Miami. Come on.
We got a few gifs of goals being scored. 4-1 over FIU. Salloi gets the first goal of 2024. I also liked that Afrifa, playing against his college team, also got a goal. He walked that into the net. It looked like he was playing against children. So I don't know how good FIU is, but at least the ball is rolling and our boys are out there playing again, Robert.
Definitely. And Salloi, the thing always with him is, if he gets a good start, he usually does okay, but he can also disappear for quite a while.
Yeah.
So I hope he doesn't spend it all in the preseason.
Streaky. That's the best case scenario, Daniel Salloi scoring the first goal. I think that's what we want.
Yeah, just getting goals. I mean, I've complained before about like preseason games, 4-0, 4-1. Doesn't really matter because it's against a weak competition. But getting off to a good start of having something go in the net, that's always a positive.
Oh, yeah.
Could have been nothing. They could have lost.
Have you ever scored a goal in your life, Dad?
Yeah.
Okay. How did that feel? Did it make you
Nice.
tingly?
I was...
He couldn't even say it then either. And I wasn't even the one asking. He still couldn't say it.
My most memorable goal, I don't remember a whole lot.
Wow. What a sentence.
How memorable could it have been then?
It was one of those that I dribbled the keeper. It was an indoor. I dribbled the keeper, dribbled like a defender. And I'm a defender, man. I'm not an attacking forward kind of guy, but I did this move. I did that move. I did this move. And literally I'm walking across the line.
You thought you were in a dream.
No.
He seems to remember it, though.
No, that's up till that point because all of a sudden I'm coming to and my teammates are looking down at me because apparently the keeper didn't appreciate me dribbling him. And
I get you.
wiped me out from behind and my head hit the floor and I was out for a few seconds.
Nice.
So that's why I say my most memorable, I don't remember a whole lot of the after effect.
And what year is this?
Oh, God, I don't know.
That is scrappy.
Where were you? I'm just testing your actual.
It was it would have been in the early 90s. It would have
Okay.
been All-American Indoor Sports over off of 87th Street.
All right. There you go. That's good.
I do know that.
There we go. We got some old Kansas City soccer guys reminiscing.
It was actually a co-ed league, too.
I always want that moment every show.
I remember I was appreciating and liking one of the girls on the team, which is why I was playing on that team. And so I did play up the, help me up kind of thing for a second. But, yeah, I'm honest.
Okay, well, successful show. I got to learn something about Thad's very interesting life that he has led. Although we were trying to talk about sporting, and we ended up talking about Thad scoring an indoor goal in the 90s.
The whole point was Salloi probably felt pretty good to score, and it's going to go on through the season, right?
Who else scored? Russell?
Willie Agata got the second one.
Yes, right after he came on.
Johnny Russell scored it looked like it was from 35 yards away, but it was a nice little curler. Afrifa got one, and Eduardo Mustre.
For FIU.
For FIU.
Right.
That's the downside is they shouldn't have given up any goals.
Yeah, but it was near the end of the game,
It was only the 55th minute, so it really wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Well, it was a 60-minute
Only played
game.
60. Yeah.
Oh. Okay, well, they locked it down for the final 5 minutes, though.
That was actually, as I'd been told, they were going to probably play 3 30-minute sessions, and I'm driving back from an event, and I'm checking tweets every so often, and I still got a whole another 30 minutes, and I was like, okay, the game's wrapped up, and I'm I'm still 10 minutes from the house, so I sped to get here to get on the presser.
You can go to kcsoccerjournal.com and see the videos, the GIFs of all of the goals. Best we got, but hey, it's real soccer.
But nobody has said, we're starting the season off without Pulido again. I know it's only preseason, but there's a joke there somewhere, right?
Yes, of
Had
course.
a flu or something. He was
Pulido
sick.
is apparently recovering from an illness.
Yeah, he was just sick. That's
Still hasn't scored since he signed his contract.
just once.
Off a miss PK.
And
Right.
he practically walked it in.
And then he walked it in.
Oh man, you guys are making me lose my train of thought here. Yeah, I would say normally that, hey, I was told that he was just sick, but, now I'm not sure I can trust anything I've been told. So.
I question it too. I really do. Other players missing: Kayden Pierre, Danny Rosero, Ozzy Cisneros, and Logan Ndenbe, of course, who still has a ways to go from that ACL tear.
Yeah, and I was told KP is still getting fit, which I thought he would have been at least fit enough to get in a few minutes.
Yeah, Kayden Pierre is honestly a bigger eye roll on this list than Pulido was. Like, Pulido being sick is one thing, but are you kidding me? KP is still injured. How is this possible?
I don't know, because Peter said that almost everybody was in the green category, meaning good.
Well, I would love to see a big year from KP.
Well, he's got to take over Davis first. That's going to be quite a task, I think.
And Natty Clark, it looked like, played on the right, so that was good. SKC2, former Academy kid.
I don't know. I actually see, if Kayden Pierre is healthy, I could see Vermees going matchup by matchup on the outside back.
Yeah, sure.
I think Jake might be stronger on defense than Kayden Pierre.
I don't know. They're just so different. I mean,
KP is probably stronger going forward.
But you got to remember, Jake was a midfielder, so he was a go forward kind of guy, and so his defense is.
I don't know that I've ever seen an outside back go forward as much as Kayden Pierre, though. That dude, it looks like he thinks he's a winger, where the first touch he has is forward straight away.
Which is good. I mean, he's got that speed, but he's also got the nice recovery speed. I mean, one of the things I love about KP was I've seen him do a number of these tackles with the Academy, with SKC2, where he just comes in, he's been beat, and he just comes in from behind and whips around and touches that ball away and doesn't take a foul for it. So nicely done. And he was really good at it, but he's got to be on the field to do that.
Yeah, hopefully he is this year. Just for him, the player's sake, I would love to see him healthy and see what he can do.
Who else was missing, Cody? Rosero
and Cisneros.
Rosero, I assume, was doing, because he said something about people getting green cards. So I assume he's the one getting a green card.
Is that what he meant when he said everyone is in the green?
No. It was like the healthy, fit.
What's up with Cisneros?
That I didn't ask. I was more focused on all the other stuff.
He hasn't played enough to get the real biting questions about him yet.
It'd be good to see him more often.
Yeah.
Meaning he would earn it. But
one of the goals this year we were thinking was to boost that bottom level of the roster. So it would be good to see Cisneros step up.
It would be good to see some other players. Peter did say they were still working on stuff, just the normal throwaway lines, but of course he was not interested in elaborating anything yesterday.
So Gavin Wilkinson didn't bring us an Argentinian in the 1 week that he was here. That's kind of what I was hoping.
Yeah,
there's gonna be a silver lining out of this. Like, bring me an Argentinian.
I was kind of hoping that too. Like, yeah, he get a good line on a couple players and then be gone.
Next preseason game Friday against Charlotte.
All right, MLS team, good.
Yeah, so
actual competition.
And no, we probably won't see any streaming of any of these games, I'm sure.
I doubt it, but we will do what we can.
Maybe Charlotte will stream it.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes the opponents do it, but yeah, and they're in Florida this time, not Arizona. Tim Mealy was very happy that they're in Florida.
There'll be some images. There'll be some moving pictures of this game. We'll get it somehow.
Them moving pictures, huh?
Did I say it like that?
No.
Okay, good. I've been accused of having a Southern accent on this show, so I'm fighting
making fun of
that.
the moving pictures aspect of it. Like, you sound like an old guy. Well, I saw moving pictures today.
Everything's up to date in Kansas City and Lee Summit, apparently.
Thad, you're the resident old guy here. Leave us with something prophetic.
I played bingo yesterday.
That's not prophetic. Who'd you play bingo?
It was pathetic.
Yeah, you are an old person playing bingo.
Okay, it was a fundraiser for American Businesswomen's Association. It was at Chicken and Pickle, or whatever that place is.
Chicken and Pickle. Did you see Matt Biesler there?
No. Have some actually reasonably decent food and some friends, so it was a fundraiser, and I could not care less to ever play bingo again.
I can't believe I was able to actually bring that back to something sporting Kansas City there with the Matt Biesler comment.
I know. I see. I set you up for a good reference, man. I knew you could do it. I had faith in you, man. I mean, I'm proud of you, Cody. And you know, I do want to say this. I do appreciate all the stuff that Cody does. He does try to keep us on track. He does try to keep us more professional. He does try to keep us going and getting better. And Cody does deserve praise every once in a while for that sort of thing. As the resident old guy, I will take the fathership role in this and say, good job, Cody, even though I will make a bunch of dumbass dad jokes most of the time.
I didn't even ask him to say that either. Great end to the show. Sporting!
The other side don't seem so tough, and 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.